You are now listening to the Art of Winning show with your host and co-host, Eddie Truck Gordon and Miyoko Taylor, two best-selling authors. Eddie Truck Gordon is New York Emmy award-winning fighter, UFC Ultimate Fighter champion. Miyoko Taylor is a celebrity personal development coach and thought leader. Both have mastered the art of winning. It's never too late to tap into your amazing, and remember, success has no age limit.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Art of Winning podcast. This is Miyoko Taylor, and once again, I'm with my amazing co-host, Eddie Truck Gordon. What is going on today, Eddie? How you doing, man?
I am doing great. I'm feeling blessed. I'm super excited about this episode. I think I say that about every episode, but this episode is, I think it's gonna impress a lot of people, and it's gonna block out a lot of myths that's out there in the internet world. So I'm excited.
I agree. I have been following this woman for quite some time. I've been getting her emails, looking at some of her strategies, and it is an honor and a privilege to actually have her on the podcast. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce everyone to Carolina Milan, and she is going to do us the service of telling us what she's accomplished in her story, because I cannot do it any justice. So welcome to the Art of Winning podcast, Carolina.
Wow, guys, thank you so much for the introduction. It's a pleasure to be here. And for the people listening or watching, I'm just an entrepreneur from Chile. I haven't done that much. I don't know what you're saying.
She's being modest.
Yeah.
So I want to just dig right in here, because I know a little bit of your story. A lot of entrepreneurs have the story of, living paycheck to paycheck, or it was in a state where they had to make a decision. And you were at one point in your life where you were at the same particular state, but I was looking at your testimonies online about how you've amassed a certain amount of income in I'll say a pretty short period of time, living what we call the laptop lifestyle. So I was telling Eddie, we've already titled the name of this show, The Laptop Lifestyle, in honor of you and in honor of what we're going to talk about, because I think there's a lot of people out here that portray the image of, I'm working from home or I'm working from my computer and I'm living this lavish lifestyle, but you're actually someone that is walking the talk. You're actually doing it. So, can you elaborate on your story a little bit, how you got started and, how you got into where you are now?
Of course. Well, it was always one of my dreams since, 10 years ago, I got introduced to the world of digital marketing. I was at my first job in human resources, fresh out of university. As most, middle-class people, I guess, I went to school, then I went to university, I got a degree, I got a job, the usual thing that they tell you to do. So I was always very obedient. So I did all that, and it's funny. I went to university to study business, but I never saw myself as a businesswoman. I thought I would always just be an employee, and maybe someday I'll be a manager in some company, right? Because that's the mindset that they train you to have at universities for the most part, traditional universities at least. So I got my degree. I learned about business, but I didn't learn how to run a business. I didn't learn any of that stuff, just all the theory. And so one of my favorite subjects was always marketing and human resources. So my first job was in human resources just because I couldn't get a job in marketing. And I really liked that because I could interact with people. So I discovered I actually enjoyed interacting with people, even though I've always been very, very much of an introvert. It forced me to get out of my shell because I had to cold call people, offer them jobs and stuff like that, interview people. So I got a few skills. But the whole idea of being stuck in a cubicle for the rest of my life, of having to ask for permission for everything, if I had to go to a doctor, I had to get permission. If I was sick, I had to get permission for. And the holidays were very, very limited. Here in Chile, where I live, you only get like 15 days off per year.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
wow.
So that's 3 weeks. That's it. That's your yearly holiday. Of course, you also get the public holidays and stuff. We have a lot of public holidays, but strictly speaking, it's just 3 weeks. And I just I couldn't live with that, right? So I went online, and that's how I discovered the first business I attempted to do was a multi-level marketing company. And I got approached by a colleague at work, and she told me about this company, and she had done this projections. She had this Excel sheet with, oh, look at this, in 3 years. It was crazy.
That sounds so familiar.
I know, right? Look at this, in 3 years, if you recruit one person per month, and that person recruits one person, and that person, one person.
Famous pyramid.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, it was a pyramid, of course. And so it looked very appealing. I went to one of their hotel meetings and I got involved, but I failed because nobody knew what they were doing. The usual story, make a list of your friends and family, and everybody you've ever met in your life, just put them on the list and send them a message about this amazing opportunity.
Yeah.
So that didn't work out. But the positive thing, and I always say I'm very grateful for that. I don't even talk to that colleague anymore. Like, it's been like 8 years since I haven't seen her. But if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have continued to research, because of that I went on Google and said, okay, there has to be a better way to do this. And that's how I found out about the concept of attraction marketing. That's how I found out about social media. That's why I got on Twitter 10 years ago. That's why I got on Facebook. That's why I do everything I do today, because of that little event that happened 10 years ago at my job. So it's crazy to see how one little decision can shape, your entire life. And so after that, I decided, okay, I'm going to do something different, and I'm going to get into the social media thing. And I became very popular here in my country on Twitter. And when I say very popular, I mean, I had like 3,000 followers, and that was a huge deal 10 years ago, because nobody had 3,000 followers. There were no celebrities on Twitter back then, very few. So that's how I got, I got a little bit of traction, and then I got the attention of a few local businesses that saw me on Twitter, and they saw, hey, it looks like you have figured out the social media thing. Why don't you help me? And so 2 years later, 2010, I had a couple of social media clients, and that's how I quit my job. I was able to replace my salary and quit my job. So it took me 2 years really of doing it on the side to finally make that decision. So I'm also very grateful for that. And then from there, I kept, very patiently, I kept building up my brand, my personal brand, started my websites, my blogs. I started posting on YouTube a little bit. But then 2012, I would say that was the year I got like my bigger breakthrough when I finally started making money with affiliate marketing. Because I had given up the MLM game. I was like, this is not for me. I hate the product. I don't want to be stuck with this product coming in every month. And the commissions were not that great. You had to recruit a lot of people to make money with multi-level marketing. And those people need to produce, because, it's a pyramid. But with affiliate marketing, I discovered that there were ways of making money online without having to be stuck with products, physical products, and where you could leverage other people's information, info products, events, masterminds. And I discovered a company that paid very big commissions, like high ticket commissions. So not like $50 per sale, but anywhere from $50 to $10,000 for one sale. So that started making the difference. And that's when I really jumped into quote unquote international success. When, I started making a name for myself in the English market, and not just in my local market, and not just in South America, but I started, growing my following around the world. So that's where I'm at today. And also that's really when I started to travel a lot, because I started really investing in myself, going to seminars, going to masterminds, networking events. Instead of sitting here at home, I discovered that the way for me to keep growing was to really go where things happen.
Right.
And a lot of people ask me if it's the same thing to watch something on YouTube or to be there, and I say no, you have to be there.
So
I'm so blown away, because like everything that you're talking about, like I lived and I love it. Like I feel like you were talking to myself, and it's powerful and beautiful what you're saying, because I was a part of that go to school, get educated, get a good job. It's like they're training you to not think for yourself, and they're training you to be a great employee. School always came well for me. My friends never understood how in the world I could walk away from a suit and tie job, a pension, and this and that, because I wasn't training myself and getting ready to build up my wealth. I done the multi-level marketing as well, because being a professional athlete, you get so many different offers from companies and this and that. And like you said, it taught me so much. So I'm grateful for those companies. But I love how you clicked right onto it and you said mindset. Because I say it all the time, people are used to having the minimum wage mindset, because they can't wrap their thoughts around the fact that you can make $10,000 for an affiliate program. You can make $5,000 to go speak for an hour. They're stuck on the $10, $15, $20 an hour mentality. And the fact that you're all the way across the world in Chile and you click that mindset, there is no excuse for anybody not to do what they love and make money and be happy and do it the right way. And that's what I think is super powerful. And I love South America. I went to Colombia 5 times already. I learned how to speak Spanish because I fell in love with that whole entire, like that country. And I'm like blown away. So Chile's next on my
yeah.
So that's it. I'm gonna let you go, Yoko, because I have 1,000.
I think some things really stuck out for me, and it's interesting that we're having this conversation, because me and Eddie were, as we were waiting for you to hop on, we were talking about some of the things and realizations that I had. Like I have a lot of followers on Facebook, and I'm all right on Instagram, but I seen a particular podcast, and they were saying that only 3 types of people should be on your friends list. It's one is those people that share the same type of interest, want to level up like you want to level up. The second person is somebody you may see as a mentor and you can really, really learn from. And the third is your ideal market, the people that you serve that you can add value to the most. And it really stuck out to me. And you said attraction marketing. And I don't think a lot of people really understand what that is. A lot of people will go on and they'll do a Facebook Live and say, hey, I'm me, this is my name, and all these particular things, and they don't understand it's still about them. It's not about the value that they're giving to other people. So I would love for you to explain exactly what attraction marketing is. That way people who may think they're attracting the right demographic or the right person realize that it's more of a self-centered approach that they're using, and they're not really adding value to their potential market. So what is attraction marketing in a nutshell?
Yes. So that's the thing with attraction marketing and also with personal branding. People think, oh, okay, I'll just set up a Twitter profile and talk every day, all day, every day. That's personal branding. Or, I'll just talk about myself all day. And that's not it, What it really is, it's about leadership. That's what it is about. When you build a personal brand, it's about the experience that other people have when they interact with you. That's what it is about. It's not about you, but okay, what's it like to experience me? What's it like for other people? Are they getting value? Are they getting what I want them to get, or what they need to get, or what they want? Because a lot of times we want to give people what we want, not what they need, right? So, for example, for me right now, I've been creating content mostly in English for a long time, because in my mind, if I speak English, I have a bigger market, right? It's not just South America, it's the whole world, blah, 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 blah. But lately I've started putting out content in Spanish, and I see that the response is much bigger than with my English content. So I'm like, okay, so the market wants more Spanish content. All right, I'll give it to them. So you have to let the market tell you what they want. And the only way for you to find out is to put some things out there and see what they say, see what they do.
Right.
So attraction marketing is really about that. It's about attracting people to you by creating value, by not expecting something in return. And it's like that book that Gary Vaynerchuk wrote, Jab, 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 Right Hook, which basically means give, ask, not take, but ask. So after you give and give and give, and then you ask, people will be so happy to give back to you because you've given that. so much.
Yes.
So that's what it is. And I got introduced to that attraction marketing concept. Like the first time I heard it was from Mike Dillard. He's been one of the mentors that I've been following for maybe for 10 years now. I think he was one of the first.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he's amazing. When I went on Google back in 2008, 2009 to research, okay, MLM, I think I typed in MLM. And his ebooks, his blog, his website, that was like the first things that popped up. And he was talking about that, attraction marketing. Instead of going knocking on people's door, why don't you get them to knock on your door with their credit card ready to buy from you? And it sounded too good to be true at first, like, yeah, right. And it's funny, but it's true. Like today, I have a lot of people willing to buy something from me, and without me doing that much. And also, sometimes I have to turn people down just because I just don't have time to work with all of them. I don't have enough time to review all the applications I get of people who want to work with me, unfortunately. So that's what it is about. And the only way to get there is by adding a lot of value. And how do you add value? First, you need to educate yourself, because a lot of people start with that mindset where they say, oh, but I'm not an expert. Why would people follow me? Why would people like me? Why will they buy from me? Well, make yourself valuable.
Right.
Yourself.
And that's the thing. We all got special values and beliefs inside of ourselves. And the thing that people lack is confidence. People lack that belief in themselves, and they don't realize their own worth. Like, we all have special gifts. And if we're willing to invest in ourselves, and that's the key thing that you said, you learned that you want to put back time into yourself. We always invest in everybody else before we put ourselves first. It's almost like, this sounds crazy, you like to pay your bills. Everybody like to pay my bills. I was like crazy when it came to my credit score. That was the most important. I paid my credit cards extra early, on time, and it was like, wait a second, why aren't you putting that same effort and time into yourself? Put that money into your savings account. Put that money and invest in yourself before you pay anybody else. And it's a mentality that people have to switch in order to get that success. And something you said that I loved, Carolina, is you said it took you probably a little bit over 2 years of doing, putting in that work and before you could be free and be able to invest in your own time full time. And people always think about overnight success. And I hate that term, because I was branded an overnight success because I won my Ultimate Fighter show and got a big contract, and the fame and the popularity came. But it wasn't that one night, that one day, that one fight that made me who I am. It was a culmination of my parents, my work ethic, my upbringing, my background, my failures that made all of that come together. And people just want it, whatever it is, so quickly, and they're not willing to work for it and do the research. Like everything that you spoke about today, I'm like geared and locked in. I was so excited to have you on the show. You have no idea.
Thank you so much.
and I was like just listening to everything you said, and the thing that caught my eye is that you did the research. You Googled Mike Dillard, you Googled MLM, you Googled these things. The research is there for anybody to go out there and get it. It's about, are you going to talk the talk, or are you going to walk the walk? And you're doing a ton of walking. I am super excited for you. And it's just amazing to hear that story. Now, you kind of stole my question. I was going to ask you, was there a specific mentor for you, especially since you're all the way across the world, in Chile? I think people don't realize how mentors are right around the corner if you could actually find them. So is there any other specific mentor or motivational person that uplifted you and got you on the right track, helped you get where you're going and where you are today? Because I think it's an ongoing journey.
Yeah, well, starting out, Mike was one of the first people I followed. Then I started following Perry Belcher as well. Before he got together with Ryan Dice and they did Digital Marketer, when he was on his own. I remember watching his videos, and I'm saying, this is really 10 years ago, a long time ago. And he had these YouTube videos of himself with a whiteboard teaching stuff. And it was good stuff for free. And it was because of him that I got on Twitter, because he kept talking so much about Twitter. Twitter is a conversation. Twitter is like a big party where you go and you meet people and you talk to them and you invite them back to your home being your website, right? And so because of him, I got on Twitter, and because of him, I bought a whiteboard. And now if you go on YouTube, I have quite a few videos of myself just teaching things on my whiteboard. It was he inspired me to do that. And I discovered that people really like that because, you know, we grew up with teachers teaching us that way. So when you see that it's familiar, and also, well, not so much today, because kids today, they don't respect teachers as much as we did in school.
Yes, now you're right.
Yeah, so that's a total different topic. But
Yeah, trust me, I got 4 boys running around. So trust me. Oh my gosh, that's like a whole other show.
I know, a whole other topic. But back then, you know, I really respected my teachers. So when you put yourself in that position of authority, and you're actually teaching something, you're being generous and giving, people love that. So I try to put a lot of content like that. Other than Perry, well, today, you know, I follow Gary Vee a lot. I love him. I used to follow, well, I still follow him, but he does something different now. Jonathan Budd was another of my early mentors, Mark Hoverson, and a lot of people from that world, a lot of people who were creating info products. That's how I got into the info product world. I had no idea what that was. Like, oh my God, I can actually create my own course and put it online and people will buy it. So it was thanks to those people. Tony Robbins is another huge inspiration for me. I've been to all of his seminars. I love the man. And so thanks to him, I've been able to grow, change my mindset personally and also business-wise. Those are just a few people to mention. Also love in the women's space, Marie Forleo. She's a great inspiration as well. Yeah, that's just a couple names I can think of. And then of course there are people that are not famous, but you know, people that I've met at events and seminars who have taught me things, like little things. Everybody that I meet and I have a good conversation with, you know, I can take something and implement it. They become a mentor.
I love that. I love that because people don't realize it. And when it comes to like mixed martial arts, when it comes to fighting, I tell people all the time, they look like, oh my God, you're a UFC Ultimate Fighter champion. Thank you so much for the time. But I always throw it back on that. I say thank you because I learned so much from everybody, whether it's somebody that just started competing or it's somebody that's been competing forever. I feel like we're never too old to learn. We're never too young to teach. And if you keep that mindset, then you're gonna grow and you're gonna be successful in whatever you do. And there's no surprise why you're so successful, Carolina. Like I can just hear you talk, hear you speak, and I feel like you're always a student. You're always willing to learn, and more importantly, you're willing to teach. Because already our listeners, like if they don't have a pen and a paper writing down and jotting down some of the things that you said, they're absolutely crazy because you said so many powerful things. You've given so much information for the entrepreneur. And the word entrepreneur is so tainted in this day and age because
I know.
Everybody's seeing the Gary V's now and they're seeing, it's almost like it's sexy to be an entrepreneur and people don't even realize, well, it's a mindset. It's not a label, it's not a tag. It's something that you got to live. And the fact that you knew you were not able to live and grow up in a cubicle, become a manager, like that wasn't you felt trapped. You almost feel, when you're an entrepreneur, I think you feel stifled when you can't be creative, you can't make an impact and leave like a legacy on the world. That kind of leads into my next question for you, because I got 1,000 of them, so I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna let you have fun, Eddie.
I'll get out your way, Yoko, after this question. What was that defining moment for you, like that tipping point moment in your life that you said, aha? Like I want to say the aha moment when you just knew what you wanted to do, how you were going to do it, when you were going to do it. What was that, like that defining moment? It's a really tough question, but I think you can handle it.
Yeah, it's a tough question, and I don't know if I have just one moment, because like there's like one first moment, which was back in 2009. I was still at my job. I was still hustling, like trying to get some followers, trying to get some clients. But I remember one time they contacted me from a newspaper, a local newspaper. They wanted to interview me. It was like one of the biggest newspapers in Chile. It's like the New York Times wanted to talk to you, you know.
Wow.
And so I said, wow, okay. So they did a phone interview with me because I live in, I don't live in the capital of Chile. So and Chile is a very centralized country. Everything is happening in the capital. So if you're not there, you're missing out. So all the networking events, all the concerts, all the cool stuff is happening there. And I live like an hour and a half from there. So it's not that bad. But I did the phone interview, and then they wanted me to come over for a photo shoot because I was going to be not on the cover of the newspaper, but I was going to be in the cover of on the cover of a magazine that the newspaper produced, like a small magazine inside the paper. And I asked my boss for permission, and he didn't let me go. So I was like,
oh God.
And then I remember the magazine came out like a week later, and there were 3 girls on the cover, and I was supposed to be the 4th, and I was not on the cover. And so I was just inside. I said, okay, I'll just send you a photo. So I just sent them a random photo of me. So if you open the magazine, there's one little photo of me, and the other 3 girls are all over the magazine. And all because they couldn't be at the photo shoot. So that was like one of those tipping moments when I said, okay, I really got to make this entrepreneurship thing work, because I really got to get out of this job because it's limiting me. Like it's cutting my wings, I guess. Like if I want to go to a place, I want to be able to just get up and go and not ask anybody for permission. Luckily, I can do that today, but back then I couldn't. So that kept me going. And then the second tipping point, I guess, would be like a couple years later when I had already quit my job, but I was not doing that great. Like I was making enough to pay the bills and make a couple trips a year. And that was in 2012. And that was when, that was the year when my mom got diagnosed with cancer. And so that was like a big hit to the family, not just emotionally, but also I knew it was going to be a financial hit as well. And, I once again, like you said, I'm a good student. For the most part, I think I'm a good student. I went online, I typed in cancer, and I started looking up therapies, treatments, and so I discovered a lot of alternative ways to combat cancer. And I needed money to help my parents, right? And to get the supplements that she needed and everything. So that really also pushed me to become more successful, more financially independent, so that I could just, hey, so the hospital bill came in and my dad couldn't pay for it. That's okay, I'll pay for it, Mm-hmm. And that for me is priceless. Like for me, it's that's what money is about, So those would be the 2 moments where I just really went full speed ahead and said, okay, I need to change something.
Wow. I like honestly, like you can't see it, but like my heart is like going. Like that's so awesome. Like thank you so much for sharing that. Like our listeners, if that doesn't hit you, like strike the emotional chord, the physical, every single chord possible in your body, like that's your why. And I could see how passionate you are when you're speaking about it. And that is so powerful. I am so grateful for you to share that. And that's like mind blowing. You are an amazing student. Give yourself credit where credit is due.
Thank you.
That's it, Yoko. I'm gonna butt out.
Literally, Eddie, you actually asked her some of the questions I was going to. I mean, this has been invaluable. I think a lot of people are going to learn from this. Even I'm learning as you're talking. And we are going to just do the surprise of the show, like we said before we got on. So everybody that comes on this show, me and Eddie are proponents of not just motivating you. I believe that motivation without momentum and implementation is just simply hype. And so many people do that. So we believe in leaving something applicable that people can do right away. If it's a small step, if it's a big step, as long as it's something that's applicably able to be done, after you're teaching it. So we want to issue you a challenge. Now, the challenge is for you to challenge all of us, me and Eddie, our audience, everybody listening. So what would be that one thing you challenge us to do that's going to help us move closer towards the lives that we desire to live? So the stage is yours. Spotlight's on you. 3, 2, 1, let it rip.
A lot of people do this type of challenge, but I don't know how many people really keep it up, how many people really follow through. And that is doing something for your business every single day, or even if you don't yet have a business, just doing something that is going to take you there every single day. So for example, I see a lot of people doing video challenges, right? Okay, 90-day video challenge. And then what happens? The 90 days end and they stop the videos. Don't stop. So creating a piece of content every single day, and then after the challenge is over, just keep doing it, because that's how you really build a habit. For example, Ray Higdon, he's another guy I follow a lot. He's been creating 2 videos a day for 9 years. 2 videos a day for 9 years. Whether it's just a Facebook Live, something simple, just a 3-minute video, or a 1-hour webinar, or something, but every single day he's creating 2 pieces of content. So I would like to challenge people to do that, to really commit to something every day. Initially, for a period of time, it could be writing a blog post, it could be tweeting every day, maybe, it could be, but something meaningful, not just hello. It could be uploading a video to YouTube every day. And people say, oh, but I'm gonna run out of content or run out of ideas. And then I tell people, okay, do you like to read? Oh yeah, I love reading books. Okay, can you make a video about 1 chapter of a book that you read and just share your experience? Yeah, I can do that. So, okay, so do that and keep doing it. So do it for a while, then it'll become easier. It's always hard to start. So, getting an idea, I mean, even listening to this guy's podcast already, it's going to give you a bunch of ideas to make videos, or maybe even just starting a podcast, and then people get complicated. Oh, how do I start a podcast? Well, there's a social media called Anchor, where you just use your phone. You just record a 3-minute, 5-minute, 1-hour episode, and it goes live on every podcast platform. It's so easy today. Really, there's no excuse to not be generating content around your passion. So anything that you're passionate about, that you could talk about every day, whether they pay you or not, go and do that, I would say. And then eventually you'll see the money will start coming in, because you'll start building that attraction marketing. People will start asking you, hey, so what do you do? And then eventually you will get the result. It's not overnight. It wasn't for me. It wasn't for any of these guys here. Exactly. So yeah, that's what
I love that. And it is so funny you said that, because you just explained me and Miyoko's relationship in a nutshell. We literally got offers, so many different podcasts, this, that, and we had no clue what we were doing until we're at the stage now. We were literally Tango and Cash, a 1 and 2 combo, and now we have the ability to have a team behind us, doing the podcast. And it started on Anchor, so it is super excited.
There you go.
And we were thinking, I feel like you was literally you were reading our mind. So I want to thank Anchor, because they're actually featuring our podcast in a marketing plan they got. So I'm super excited. Carolina, thank you so much for blessing you today. We're blown away. Please tell all of our listeners where they can find you on Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff. And I'm making sure I'm going to follow you. I never follow our guests until after the show, because I want to be listening to you as how the guests were for the first time. So I feel like it's a good way for me to interact with the guests and ask the questions. So I am so excited, and I do know your Twitter handle already, because Yoko already explained everything. So I try my best not to peak. I peaked and I fell in love with you. That's why I was so excited for this show. But tell our listeners where they can find you.
Yes. All right. So my main website is, I have a Spanish website and I have an English website. So if you go to, it's myname.com. So Carolina, and then my last name is Millan. So in Spanish, it's pronounced Millan, but in English, it's okay. You can say Milan or whatever. So Carolina Millan, .net. That would be my English website, and .com would be my Spanish website. The English one is under construction as we speak, so a few things are not working yet. Sorry about that. And then on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere you can find me, it's the same handle, at Carolina Millan. Millan is Millan. And I recently started a podcast as well. Hope to have you guys as my guests.
I would love to.
I would love to.
That would be awesome.
I'm honored.
Which you can find on beyondthehustle.com. And over there, you can subscribe on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google so far. Hopefully, I'll be on Spotify soon, but they didn't approve me yet. I think they're behind with it. So
if they're smart, they'll hurry up.
Yes.
Oh my God, it was an honor. I am so grateful. Thank you so much. I'm speechless. I'm like blown away. Like my clipboard is full of notes I jotted down.
I literally had my phone out, and I'm just like.
Thank you so much, guys. Like it's been a real pleasure to speak to you, to get to know you. Hopefully, it's just the beginning.
Absolutely.
There's no doubt this is just the beginning. I'm super excited. Now, before we go out, I have to ask you. Did you tune into the UFC? They went to Chile for the first time last week. Were you able to watch? I won't be offended. Don't.
Oops.
Yeah.
I didn't, but a good friend of mine was there. He sent me a couple of photos. I was like, oh, really? They're here? I didn't even know they were coming.
Yeah, it's wild, right?
It was a big deal.
Attraction. It was a big,
really big deal.
The main event was he was from Chile, Ponzinibbio, and he got hurt. So I think that probably took away probably a little bit of the steam. The fight in his home country would have been huge for him, but he got a little injured. So that was a little bit downplayed, but it was a great card, and like Chile was amazing. So I covered it. So I was really blown away. Once I found out you were on the show, I was like, this couldn't happen at a better time.
You have to come to Chile someday.
Yeah, I promise you, it's on my bucket list. That's gonna happen within the next 6 months. I have a really big fight coming up. After that, I'm taking a vacation in Chile. Done deal.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having us, and thank you so much for tuning in, listeners, to the Art of Winning show. And we look forward to talking with you next time.
All right, take it easy, everybody.